Hey guys, Aaron Cybertron Zeng here, and today I'm back with another episode of Road to Ranked where I climb the online VGC 20 ladder and provide live commentary as I go. Today we're trying out a Series 6 tournament winning team. It was built by a player called Adi, who you may recognize because we actually featured his Comfy Goodra team just a couple of episodes ago. Well, I guess it's been a while now, probably around 2 months or so, but we featured his Comfy Goodra team back in Series 5 when he qualified for the Players' Cup, and he used that to place 6th in the Players' Cup 1 qualifiers. So Adi actually used this team this past weekend for a huge online grassroots tournament organized by the VGC subreddit, r/VGC, and Adi was actually able to win the entire tournament. So, first of all, congratulations to him. You should definitely check him out. I've linked his YouTube channel in the description below. He started making content just a couple of months ago. Fantastic content creator, highly underrated, and definitely deserves way more subs than he has. Has a very deep understanding of the game, especially of this format specifically. And yeah, just a really awesome team builder as well. So check him out, linked in the description below. He also posted the final VODs from that tournament. So yeah. And this team is super interesting. You know, Series 6 is kind of still really wide open because we haven't had really much of an established metagame because of the lack of, you know, a lot of tournaments. Often tournaments are what kind of progress the metagame as you see what's winning and what's not winning. You know, we've only really had just the online ladder to climb. So this team has a lot of different cool elements. Obviously, the Persian is super interesting because it enables Charizard and Terrakion. You can set up the Sunny Day for Charizard. You can beat up onto Terrakion and make these two attackers really, really powerful. They're already pretty strong, and you give them basically the extra push that they need to just pick up big one-hit KOs. So that's already a really interesting core, but you also have Clefairy with Life Dew. Life Dew, I think, has been a highly underutilized move in this format, so excited to finally see a team with it, as well as AV Ferrothorn with 2 Steel-type attacks in Heavy Slam and Gyro Ball, and then Gastrodon. Gastrodon is really good and adds so much synergy to this team because it obviously can redirect super effective water-type attacks away from both the Charizard and the Terrakion, and so that's really important because those are often the 2 Pokemon that are kind of carrying the team in terms of damage. So excited to try out this team. It's a rental team, so feel free to use the code yourself. There is also a paste, courtesy of Adi, in the description below. So yeah, let's get right into today's episode. Thank you as always for watching Road to Ranked, and thank you to everyone for the birthday wishes on yesterday's episode. I read through all the comments, and I just very much appreciate having you all here. So thanks as always for supporting me, for supporting the channel. Really does mean a lot. And yeah, hope you guys continue to come out and watch Road to Ranked. It's crazy to me that we've done over 250 episodes of this. Like, I think we'll get pretty close to 300, you know, by the anniversary of Sword and Shield. So that to me is kind of wild to think about, but I really appreciate you all for coming out and watching the videos. And yeah, question of the day, completely unrelated to Pokemon. I just want to know what everyone's favorite ice cream flavor is. Mine would definitely have to be cookies and cream. Although I really like the birthday cake kind of ice cream flavor as well. That's been growing on me, but obviously a little bit harder to find. So this is a really interesting team. Hydreigon, Durant, Azumarill. They have an Amoonguss, and this is where like Persian is pretty good because Amoonguss doesn't really care. And can just redirect attacks away. Because Persian has the safety goggles. Sorry, I should have been a little bit more specific there. I feel like my opponent's not going to go with the Coalossal route, right? You're staring down a Gastrodon. That alone should scare you. So I'm expecting Durant, maybe? Durant's actually pretty rough here, I feel like. Because my best way of dealing with Durant is Charizard, but the Persian... I mean, the Persian can Parting Shot it, but then you can just still Rockfall. So maybe I bait the Durant. Like, I could go Persian Charizard, Parting Shot, and then have, like, Ferrothorn as a switch-in. That could be interesting. Like, I think Charizard's probably our key to winning this. What do I want in the back? I mean, Gastrodon's really not that great here. Like, I'm thinking Ferrothorn and the Terrakion, just for maximum offense here. Clefairy's not bad. I think you could definitely make an argument for every Pokemon. I'm going to bring Terrakion mainly because of the Hydreigon. But I don't know. I feel like you could definitely make a strong argument for Clefairy and Gastrodon as well. So I've barely played any games with this team, so I'm going to try to, you know, get a better understanding of it as we, you know, try it out. But yeah, you know, it's got a great offensive core and a really great defensive core, and I love kind of the synergies between both of those. So yeah. Okay, it's going to be Durant and Amoonguss. So this was kind of what I was expecting. And this is where the goggles comes in handy for us, because what I want to do turn 1 is just Parting Shot into the Durant. Parting Shot into Durant. You should Rockfall into Charizard. So we can just go out into the Ferrothorn here, I think. Yeah, because I think what we need to do in this game is probably stall out my opponent's Dynamax. I'm thinking about what else we could have led against this. Like, the thing is, this lead is relatively safe. I guess my opponent might just Spore into the Persian slot, though. Oh, they switched Durant out. Now, that's interesting. Okay. Coalossal? Azumarill. Huh. Well, Pharaoh's looking really good right now, but my opponent actually recognizes that they kind of need the Durant for the end game, so it's a really smart play. They don't protect the Amoonguss either, so I have to wonder if I'm getting Spored here on the switch-in. For that reason, because I'm a little bit nervous, I think I might actually go into Terrakion because I've got the Lumberry on that. So it eats up a potential Spore here. Azumarill's not a big offensive threat, so my opponent's probably going to want to switch that out here. And Spore ended up going into Amoonguss. Okay, that's nice. Like, the thing is, I could Swords Dance here, but I don't think it really makes much sense. I'm honestly leaning towards just Rock Sliding here, and I could see Azumarill switching out. It doesn't do very much here, although you might be compelled to just target Terrakion. Like, I kind of want to just Rock Slide and knock off here in this position. I also haven't revealed my Force, so my opponent would have to be a little bit worried about a potential Gastrodon, but because I have the Lumberry here, I think I'm just going to go for some damage real quick. I don't want to Swords Dance and have Durant switch in on me this turn, and if we could get Durant on it as it switches in, that'd be great. Unfortunately, it does not switch in here, so good awareness by my opponent, because I obviously could have just gone for a knockout onto Azumarill. We actually flinched the Azumarill, which is quite fortunate. Obviously, by going for Rock Slide, our chances of flinching one of the two are actually pretty high, but we'll take it. So this is where the Lumberry is huge for us, and I get the knockoff off. Okay. It was AV. So, I mean, here I think I'll probably just want to protect. What's awkward here is... Man. Because, like, Durant really gives both Terrakion and Charizard a pretty tough time here, honestly. Like, it's actually probably one of the worst Pokemon for us to go up against. Unfortunately. I don't want to switch in Persian here. I mean, Zumarill's not taking much... Like, it won't do that much to us. It's probably going to go for, like, a Fairy type attack here. And you're probably going to Spore. Part of me wonders if I can actually pivot Charizard in safely. So what I want to do here is actually maybe protect and just knock off into Amoonguss. Because here's the thing. If we can pivot out Charizard and get a... Because I don't think my opponent's going to want to switch out into Durant. If we could get Charizard out freely and get a max Airstream off, then we're in great position because then we outspeed the Durant. So I think that's actually what we should be going for here. We're going to want to pivot out into Charizard, yeah. And it's Akaberry and Amoonguss, which explains the way they played out turn 1. So I'm going to switch out into Persian here, actually, because then I can Parting Shot the subsequent turn. And I don't want to knock out either of my opponent's Pokemon right now, honestly. I guess one approach we could do is... the thing is, I don't have any way to hit Durant with Ferrothorn, so I feel like we have to max Charizard, or maybe Terrakion. But I like the idea of switching out here into Persian, because then we can Parting Shot the subsequent turn, and I'll just go for Gyro Ball onto Azumarill in case that wants to switch out for some chip. Okay. Maybe targeting Amoonguss would have been better, because I think that's more likely to switch out. But I think the way we win this is by getting a speed boost onto the Charizard with an Airstream. They do switch out Azumarill finally, though, okay. I don't think that's Durant coming back out, though. No, that's Hydreigon. Okay. And this is the beauty of Goggles. Yup, we eat that up, and I get the Gyro Ball off now. What? I have to say I did not expect it to do that much damage. You can see it's brave, but still. Oh my goodness, okay. Well, this is really interesting now. Because I really want to just fake out into the Hydreigon and switch out into the Charizard. So, because unless my opponent hard calls this and spores the Ferrothorn slot, I think we just win the game off this play. Because then I can just Airstream, and as soon as we get an Airstream off, we should have full control of this match. It's just the Durant that's still such a problem for us. Okay, no Max Hydreigon. We don't KO with Fake Out, that's good. And they just go for Sludge Bomb. Okay, perfect. This is played out perfectly for us. Because now we get the speed boost off, and that's just what's really important here. I wonder if beat up KOs the Hydreigon here. Let's find out. I'm going to beat up Hydreigon, Max, and Airstream. Like, if you look at this matchup, Durant is so good on paper because it demolishes both Charizard and Terrakion with Rockfall and Steel Spike respectively. So our way of playing around it is we need to make sure that it doesn't just pick up a one-hit KO every turn that it Dynamaxes. So My opponent made a really good play of just switching out, because by switching out, you, like, if they had just stayed in and rockfalled into the Ferrothorn, I get the parting shot off, get that attack drop. We're looking really good after that. But because I forced the switch out and got a parting shot onto the Azumarill, that put us in a really good spot. Obviously, we got a little lucky with that flinch earlier. Amoonguss switches out, but at this point, I think it's actually too late for my opponent to really do very much, because I think Charizard just applies maximum pressure now. Oh, actually, I shouldn't have maxed there. Oh, I should have not. Yeah. And I'll tell you why. The reason I shouldn't have maxed there was because now if I knock out both Pokemon, what I could have done was just Sunny Day Heat Wave. Oh, but then, no, I needed the speed boost to max. Yeah. Okay. I actually think we'll probably miss out on a knockout here with Beat Up. It's really close, actually. Let's see. Okay, Hydreigon hangs on, which actually might be in our favor if it's not Life Orb. Although most Hydreigons are Life. Oh, but yeah, you have the Durant on that team, right? So I feel like Hydreigon actually probably shouldn't be Life Orbed, which would be a really big deal, because then it means you don't get a free switch into Durant. If it's Life Orb, then you get Durant and Amoonguss out, and then we're still in kind of an awkward spot. Ooh, they actually go for Draco and Persian dodges it. That will probably seal up the game. We definitely got lucky this game, but I don't really think we needed the flinch or the miss there. Like, I don't know. I think it would have been really tough for my opponent to win this, and now they bring out the Amoonguss. That's fine. Unless it was Life Orb. Even if it was Life Orb, like, I could have just gone Sunny Day and Wildfire, which is exactly what I'm going to go for here. I don't want to target the Hydreigon, because, like, if it weren't Life Orb, then even if you knock out the Persian, like, I just get a free switch in, and Charizard just knocks out the Amoonguss, while Terrakion can just click Rock Slide. Yeah, so we're just setting up Sunny Day, because, yeah, at this point, what I don't want to do is knock out Hydreigon. So the beat up actually not picking up the knockout last turn was in our favor. I think my opponent probably needed to try to go for Draco onto Charizard and hope for a crit in that position. And we don't knock out Amoonguss, which is great, too. So let's see if Hydreigon was Life Orbed. Either way, it's going to be a double KO after the Wildfire effect this turn. Here's Draco coming out. Because I think if it were Life Orbed, and Hydreigon actually KOs itself, my opponent had a better shot at this one. If it weren't Life Orb, though, then it would have been really difficult for them to win, because you can't bring out the Durant. You'd have to bring out the Amoonguss. Was it Life Orbed? Nope, it was not. Yeah, so then I don't think the miss last turn really mattered, because then what I would have been able to do is just bring in Terrakion and just go for Wildfire and a Rock Slide. Actually, I'd probably Airstream Rock Slide to get the speed boost first, and then I can Wildfire the subsequent turn. And actually, I'd probably stall out my own Charizard's max, so then I can just click Heat Wave. That being said, we definitely, you know, I got that crit earlier, the flinch earlier, and the flinch prevented a potential crit. Although, actually, if you crit my Terrakion, I just get the free switch into Charizard. I feel like the way this matchup works is I just have to deny my opponent from Dynamaxing Durant, or make sure that I don't take too much damage in the couple of turns of Dynamax. So I'm curious on the item on Hydreigon. I cannot believe how much damage that Gyro Ball did, and in the end, it was actually favorable for us that we did not pick up the knockout onto it. Because if we picked up the double knockout, my opponent gets Amoonguss and Durant in for free, and then you can just Rage Powder. I think it'd still be pretty tough for my opponent to win. Well, yeah, if we picked up the knockout there onto Hydreigon, you don't get the Draco Meteor off, so it's 4v2, right? And then I could just go for, like, Sunny Day and Airstream or Wildfire. Actually, yeah, you're forced to Rage Powder too, so Amoonguss is definitely going down. So, yeah. I think as soon as we maxed Charizard and got that Airstream off, we were in good shape. Yeah, but my opponent made the good play of switching out that Amoonguss to conserve redirection support for the Charizard later on. So that was a great switch. Yeah, so I think if the miss doesn't happen there, you knock out the Persian. You can't bring in the Durant in that position. You have to bring out the Amoonguss. So what would I do? I'd probably bring in Terrakion, and actually what I would do is I would Swords Dance with Terrakion. Yeah, this is what I would do. So if that Draco Meteor connected, I would bring out Terrakion, and I would just Airstream into Amoonguss and Swords Dance with the Terrakion. Because I know the Hydreigon's at -2. With the Airstream, that means that both of my Pokemon will outspeed the Durant in subsequent turns, and then I have a +2 close combat into Durant, or I can click Rock Slide as well. Amoonguss has to protect it from that position, because if it doesn't protect, it just faints. And then I still have one more turn of Dynamax with Charizard, so the subsequent turn I can just Airstream Rock Slide, pick up a double KO. So, yeah, I think because we had Swords Dance on this Terrakion, it was actually pretty much just a guaranteed wrap, even if that Draco Meteor hit. Wow, this is a really interesting team. Scizor, okay, I love Scizor, so if we lose here, I honestly wouldn't even mind at all. The Weezing here is interesting, right, because it denies my abilities, and, you know, these abilities are pretty important, although I feel like Charizard is really dang good here. Like, really, really good. So much to the point where I kind of want to just lead Persian Charizard, and I still like Terrakion on the back. I mean, Tsareena's scary. Maybe a Clef support here is valuable. Yeah, I feel like my opponent doesn't have that much damage here. Do I need Gastrodon? I mean, the only reason I'd want to bring it is for like a max Milo. I guess Ferrothorn's actually not that great here. The one thing would be to pressure the Milotic, and this is the synergy with the team, by the way, once again. Like, water types give Terrakion and Charizard trouble. How do you beat the water types? You have Ferrothorn and Gastrodon. Even having them in team preview alone adds so much value. You know what? I'm not seeing much damage from my opponent here. I just really want to go Terrakion for like a late game beat up. That'd be kind of fun, but I feel like it's probably not very consistent. So I'm going to go with Gastrodon and Ferrothorn here. I think Clefairy could definitely work as well, because I could offer Friend Guard support for Charizard. And actually, if there was any match to go for that, it's probably this one, because there's not much already pressuring Charizard with damage, and with Friend Guard and Life Dew, we can soak up attacks and heal ourselves up. But, I don't know, I feel like Gastrodon and Ferrothorn actually match up very well offensively into my opponent's team as well, so, yeah. It's going to be Milotic and Meowstic. Okay, I have to watch out for potential fake tiers stuff here. And Thunder Wave, obviously. Honestly, I kind of want to just fake out into Meowstic here and switch out into Gastrodon. Yeah, like if my opponent gets greedy and goes for a water type attack immediately, even with a single special attack boost on Gastrodon from Storm Drain, it's actually really good. Okay, so we get Gastrodon, the Living Legend out. Meowstic switches out, okay. Ah, well done, well done. Okay, that's a cool play. Shut down the abilities. And that is going to be Max Milo. Okay. So, this is both good and bad. Obviously, the Weezing switching was really phenomenal to deny me from just eating this up with Storm Drain. But, here's the upside. If I stall out my opponent's Dynamax, and I have Weather Control with the Persian, by the way, so I can set up Sunny Day, and I have Max Quake with the Charizard, so it's actually not too bad here. And I don't think Geyser really KOs us here either. And we have the Citrus, so even though, like, I wanted to potentially see if Milo wanted to consider maxing, and, you know, the Weezing is a really smart way to go around the ability here. But, yeah, that actually procs our Citrus Berry. Another one won't even KO, so I can just, like, Sunny Day here this next turn. My only fear is if the Weezing one-shots the Persian here. Oh, you know what's also really interesting in this position? I can Parting Shot into the Milotic. And I can actually go for that because the only downside is if your Weezing actually just hard switches out. Like, I'm leaning towards Parting Shot so I can go out into Ferrothorn and just Earth Power into the Weezing. Scald could burn. What are the switch-ins? Tsareena, potentially, I guess. Burning a Tsareena would be really nice. Does Weezing switch out here? I could see it going out. I don't want to risk it. I'm going to Sunny Day here and Earth Power. Because if it does switch out and I go for Parting Shot, that's a disaster for us. Oh, but I guess you can't switch out, right? Because you need to shut down the Storm Drain. So maybe Parting Shot there would have been fine. But I think this turn is also fine. Depends on if the Persian gets one shot here. Next Geyser. Let's see. The Gastrodon, yep. Barely does anything. So that's perfect. I mean, this is what we want to do. A bulky team like this, often you either want to push the tempo immediately or you want to stall out your opponent's max. So, yeah. I do think Parting Shot would have been better here. That does one-shot Weezing. That was a crit. I don't know if that mattered, though. I don't know my Persian calcs like super well. Okay, that makes it a little bit tougher, honestly, because now I don't have that Sunny Day support as we almost one-shot Weezing. So here's the thing, if I knock out the Weezing, you can't go for Storm Drain anymore. So I honestly could just bring out Charizard and just max Airstream here into the Weezing and recover with the Gastrodon. Even if Weezing protects, we should one-shot it through Protect. So I kind of like that play here. Max. Oh, actually, we don't need Airstream. We can Quake. That also gives us a Spadef boost, and it's super effective. Is there anything in the back that outspeeds us? Not really, no. Yeah, I'm kind of content just going for a Max Quake here. And recovering. I don't want to Earth Power here. I don't want to give Milo a potential boost. I should do that calculator, because I thought Weezing would probably one-shot us, even without that crit there. And Parting Shot makes more sense, because, yeah, you're never going to Geyser and switch Weezing out there. So, Parting Shot would have been really nice, because we get the Weezing in for free, or say the Ferrothorn in for free, which is really good against what my opponent has. Ferro's going to be incredible in this late game against the Milotic, so just need to target around the Milotic. Yeah, Weezing protects, but Max Quick should one-shot it through Protect, which also turns down the Strange Steam. And we get the Spadef boost as well. So, all good stuff for us. But this would have been a lot easier if Persian just stuck around for another turn, because then I can just get Weather Control with Sunny Day, and Charizard Inch Sun probably just one-shots everything on my opponent's team. I think one thing I have to watch out for, though, here is the Meowstic, because that can potentially Thunder Wave into the Charizard. So that would have been a reason to Airstream, actually. And, yeah, we turn off the ability now. So Storm Drain takes in. And yeah, there's been a lot of fun mechanic interactions in today's episode. Like, that's always neat. And so, like, Gastrodon's going to be very difficult for my opponent to KO. It basically walls the Milotic and the Meowstic. So if my opponent doesn't have Tsareena in the back, they're already in a lot of trouble. And this is one of the great things about a late-game GMax Charizard. If you can stall out your opponent's max and then get the Wildfire off, you get so much more mileage out of it. Okay, so Meowstic comes out. I don't even think I'm that worried about the... What was I going to say? I don't think I'm really that worried about the Thunder Wave here. Because even... let's see. There are 3 turns of Rain left. You would think Meowstic would want to go for a T-Wave here. It could also Fake Tears, which could be scary. Ooh, I wonder if Fake Tears would be enough to actually pick up the knockout. I also wonder if +1 Scald and Rain KOs Meowstic, because I'm actually leaning towards Max Guarding here and Scalding the Meowstic. Because I am worried about a Fake Tears and a Muddy Water play into the Charizard. And I feel like you have to target the Charizard here. They went for Light Screen, though. Okay. So that was their best option. Oh, Milotic actually clicks Recover. Interesting. So they're trying to stall out my Max, which makes a lot of sense. Okay, Scald does around 50%. Gets a burn. RNG has definitely been on our side in today's episode. It's just, I feel like my opponent needs Tsareena as the last one. If not, they're really doomed. I'm going to go for the Wildfire and the Scald here. Yeah. So now, I mean, the question still is, what is Meowstic's moveset? He does have Thunder Wave, but if you're going for Muddy Water, which is normally Milotic's Water type attack, you're just going to activate my special attack. They just opt for Ice Beam, but that's fine. Like, we have a Spadef boost. I really don't mind that. That does nothing to us. No Freeze, although Scald would have thawed us out anyway. Obviously, Wildfire does, like, barely any damage here, but the more important thing is getting that residual effect for this late game. Okay. So last turn I played a little bit passively by protecting, but I don't really regret that. Let's see what the last one is, because if it's Tsareena can't really touch Charizard. It's actually completely walled by Charizard. And the Rain is about to expire as well, so I could pretty easily double protect to stall out the Rain. If the last one is Tsareena, I'll probably just switch Gastrodon out. It's actually Chandelure, so... the only question here is, are you Rindo Chandelure? Oh, Chandelure is actually the best Pokemon for my opponent to have in this endgame. If it doesn't have Energy Ball, it's doomed for my opponent, but if they have Energy Ball... it gives them a very big fighting chance, actually. Oh, man. The other question is whether you knock out Charizard here with the Rain being up and us having the Spadef boost. I wouldn't think so. We also have that special defense boost on Gastrodon, and if we KO Chandelure, we win this game. So I'm leaning towards just going for Scorching Sands and Earth Power. I wonder if Energy Ball would one-shot us with the Spadef boost here. I wouldn't think so. It does have it. Okay. Can it knock us out? It does. Okay. That will probably be the game then. Oh, it's Life Orb, though. That's why. Okay. But here's the problem. Muddy Water is now single target. I maybe should have double protected, but I was worried about the paras there. Life Orb Energy Ball. I was expecting Sash. If I double protect to stall out the Rain there... Yeah, I didn't think Energy Ball would KO if it didn't have a Life Orb or a Specs, but obviously had it. So I could have double protected there. That would have stalled out the rain, which means then, because all we need to do is knock out Chandelure to win this game. So by double protecting, I stall out the weather, and then the subsequent turn I can just Scorching Sands, Earth Power. Although actually that wouldn't have done enough anyway, I don't think. So yeah, my opponent having Chandelure in the back here was perfect for them. Well played. I felt like we had a really good early game here, but the Persian going down was really rough. So I do want to quickly calc that because I don't know the calc there. Either way, I shouldn't have even left it open to a potential crit, but thinking Persian probably still goes down anyway. Special defense is really quite mediocre. Okay. So Persian against Weezing. Strange Steam. Yeah, I think it depends on how offensive it was. I mean, most Weezings aren't really running any special attack investments, so... Oh, actually, we can check their spread here, so... I do want to see if the calc mattered here. Wow, Weakness Policy Milotic, interesting. Wide Lens, Life Orb Chandelure with Energy Ball. Choice Band Scizor, very cool. Black Sludge, Strange Steam. It did have Will-O-Wisp, and... Oh, this was very offensive, actually. That makes me feel better, because it means that we probably weren't going to survive with the Persian. Yeah. So, you know, I should have just gone for the parting shot into the Milotic in that position, I would say. Like, even though... Like, yeah, it just wasn't my most optimal play there, because the Weezing's never switching out there. And I thought Tsareena would be in the back, but yeah, you didn't need Tsareena because you have Energy Ball Chandelure with the Life Orb. I wonder if that's a guaranteed KO onto a Gastrodon as well. I want to calc that out of curiosity. I'm also quickly just checking how much special defense the Persian had on this team. That was a really interesting game, though. I felt like I had good early game momentum, but I didn't carry it forward enough, and that's because all I needed to do was set up the Sun there and get an Airstream off. I also could have, if I don't get paralyzed there and I just double up onto the Meowstic the turn it switched in, I could have just picked up the KO. I felt like it was, but I wanted to scout out for its moveset, and I don't think I needed to show it that much respect in that position. Yeah, okay, this Persian actually has a lot of special defense investment, so... Given that it was max special attack Weezing, Strange Steam actually had a 50% chance to one-shot. So either way, it was a roll, and I shouldn't have let it be in the favor of a roll, potentially. Okay, next team here. I think Clefairy would have been really good to have in that last one for redirection support, so maybe I want to consider that a little bit more here. How does my opponent beat up here? Beat up really looks tempting. Like, I kind of want to just go Persian Terrakion, honestly. With Ferrothorn and Charizard here. And the logic behind that is, like, Ferrothorn walls everything other than Volcarona. I don't even think we don't necessarily need a max Terrakion base of the lead. Like, just getting a beat up and, like, knocking one thing out and getting 50% on the other would be really valuable here. So, let's see. Yeah, that last game, I think we just went parting shot into the Milo, bring in Ferrothorn. Not a game-winning play necessarily, but it puts us in such a fantastic position, because then I conserve Persian for a late-game fake-out as well. Okay, so Dusclops and Primarina. I don't even know if +4 Rockfall KOs the Dusclops, but if it does, I kind of want to just go for Beat Up and Rockfall into that slot. Because that sets up the sand for us, too. Alright, let's find out. Because I think with Primarina, you have to be a little bit scared of my beat-up plays. They might max Geyser, but we should survive a Geyser with the Sandstorm being up because of the special defense boost. So, I don't know. Maybe I could have let Trick Room go up in this game and actually Dynamax Ferrothorn as well. Actually, it would be a pretty interesting option if I just went beat-up and... But then the thing is, Persian is really useless. If we pick up the KO here, we're just in such good shape, honestly, I think. Best case is, like, the Primarina protects as Dusclops tries to Trick Room. But I think Dusclops also has to be a little bit worried about, you know, getting knocked out here. So in my eyes, I see Primarina maxing and my opponent just going for Geyser onto Terrakion and Trick Room with the Dusclops if I had to guess. So let's find out. I would think +4 Rockfall is enough to KO from a max Terrakion, but not 100% confident. They max, but it'd be nice to see a max guard here if they were. But like, I don't think you would even need a max guard because you would recognize, hey, with the Dynamax, we should survive a +4 Rockfall. But maybe my opponent hopes that I gamble a little bit and go all in on the Primarina, max guard, and then if they were to do that, I think the game would instantly be over. So let's see. Yeah, no max guard. Okay, we get to +4 attack. How defensive from the physical side is the Dusclops? Let us find out. In that last match, maybe I should have just gone Wildfire. I was worried about the Fake Tears Muddy Water, but with the Spadef boost, I don't even know if that would have been enough to KO the Charizard, honestly. Because if we don't get paralyzed there, then we just outspeed the Chandelure, and then we get a Quake off against it too, which also gives us another special defense boost on the Gastrodon. So I made 2 major misplays in that game, I think, the way I look at it. Okay, here's the +4 Rockfall into Dusclops. Is it enough? Okay, good. So that's good. That's out of the way. I'd love it if Primarina targeted the Persian here for some reason. I think either way this is fine. It actually goes for Starfall instead of Geyser into Terrakion. Yep, but the sand allows us to survive. Okay, nice. What I am nervous about, though, now is what do you have in the back? Do you have something that outspeeds Terrakion and can one-shot it in this range? Maybe a Scarf Krookodile, for example. There's Krookodile, there's Braviary, there's Volcarona. None of those are really a problem. Now, what'd be interesting is that they bring in Volcarona, not expecting the... Oh, I guess the Goggles is on, Yeah, the Goggles is on Persian. So, what do I want to do here? I can Parting Shot into Primarina. Parting Shot. Which allows me to go out into Ferrothorn, which is pretty solid here. Parting Shot Max Guard, I think, is fine in this position. I think Volcarona feels forced to go for Rage Powder probably right now. Let's see. Yep. So the Goggles allows us to ignore the Rage Powder, get the drop onto the Primarina. Only question is, what do I want to switch in? Because they might have targeted the Persian here, which would have been a really good play. So I might just go out into Ferrothorn, because what that allows me to do is this next turn I can just click Rockfall into the Volcarona and just Power Whip into the Primarina. It's like a super consistent play here. But they just Starfall into Track. Okay, given that they're Starfalling, I feel like they're probably Hyper Voice and they don't have Hydro Cannon. Like, that would make the most sense to me. Okay, get to confirm the item there. It's not Goggles on Volk. I mean, I could even Rockfall into the Primarina here. Given that it's Life Orbed, it's probably a little bit more offensive. But Rockfall also kind of demolishes Volk, right? I've got the AV, though. I should survive any attack from the Volcarona, so I honestly kind of want to double up here onto the Primarina. Yeah, because, like, Volcarona maybe switches out here, trying to bait me into targeting that slot. Yep. Yep. Nice. Krookodile? Braviary. Okay, that's fine. Because I think my opponent recognizes they need Volcarona in this late game. So if this knocks out, we should just be GG. Ah, beautiful. Alright, and that is the power of Dynamax Terrakion. You know, it's often hard to feel really confident in those beat-up setups. But there's no reason to not target the Primarina there, because in a position like that, you know the Volcarona is forced to Rage Powder, and so by doubling up on Primarina, there's really no downside unless Primarina protects and the Volcarona targets the Ferrothorn. But here's the thing, even if you go for that, Terrakion just ends up clicking Rock Slide in this late game and just knocks out everything. So Terrakion on paper was just phenomenal here. There was nothing that really threatened it, and by being able to pick up that one-hit KO on turn 1, we were just in great shape. So, we know that the Volk is... Like, the one thing I want to still potentially play against is a Scarf right now on the Braviary. So I think we should play it safe here, switch out into Persian, because then I have Fake Out. And I'm just going to click Rock Slide here due to fear of Tailwind from Braviary. If they're not Scarfed and Rock Slide... actually, I should have close combated here, I think, to not risk a miss. But if they're not Scarfed, then they're doomed. Okay, Braviary protects. So we know that's not Scarfed. I don't even think the Volcarona can knock out Terrakion with Sandstorm being up, unless you have Giga Drain. We do connect, so that should seal up the game. Nice. Yeah, so kind of sloppy play for me in that second game. I'm happy about the first and the third. That second one, like I said, there were 2 big plays I could have made. And I didn't risk the Parting Shot into Milotic because I was worried about like the competitive, but that was not a rational fear because you're never going to switch out there because you want a Geyser. And then the second misplay I made was protecting the Charizard on that second turn of Dynamax. So, yeah. Cool. We can get to +6 attack in this game. And go for close combat. So those are some really fun games. Like, overall, I think we had the tools to win all 3. You know, I'm happy. I don't think I really would have changed too much about how I played these last 2 matches, actually. Or, sorry, this one and the first one. But that second match definitely was kind of sloppy on my end. Especially because I felt like we had a really, really good early lead. And as soon as we got the max out of Milo and we wasted so much of its mileage, I thought we were in great shape. So I didn't really respect or consider the Life Orb Energy Ball Chandelure specifically. And that's actually a really good tech against everything we have if I don't bring Terrakion and you stall out the Dynamax. So that was really smart. Great light screen setup by my opponent. I think that was really well done. And out of curiosity, actually, I do want to see how much Chandelure does into Gastrodon with the Energy Ball and Life Orb. Because we are a +1 special defense. And I was wondering if that was a roll, but it doesn't really look like it. We're max HP, but there's no special defense investment from us. So even with 1 special defense boost, it actually does 105 to 124%. If we get to +2, that's an 81 to 95% chance to knock out. So it's just super, super strong. Now, if it were without a Life Orb, that Energy Ball is still probably going to knock us out from the range that we were at. Yeah, I think we had less than 81%. This is telling me it does 81%. So the life, even without the Life Orb, like as soon as I saw Chandelure, I should have been thinking Energy Ball. So what I could have done was protected Gastrodon to bait out the Energy Ball, and it's still really rough at that point, though, because Chandelure just beats my whole team at that point. So I needed to deny it more, because my opponent set up the screens, too, which was really, really well done. I got too comfortable with Gastrodon in that late game, and in the entire time in my head, I thought Tsareena would be the last one, so even something like a Clefairy would have won it for us over Ferrothorn, because if I did have Clefairy, what I could have done there was just protect Gastrodon, sacrifice the Charizard, get Clefairy in, and then go follow me and Earth Power into the Gastro. And then Gastrodon can't really deal with... Like, Gastro will win the 1v1 against the Milotic there, most likely. Actually, not necessarily. It could freeze us, and it could recover stall us as well. But, yeah, if I just went for the parting shot game 2, that would have been a much better spot for us. So, yeah, especially because, like, with the Persian, I have Fake Out support later on against the Meowstic, and I could even beat up for a little bit of chip damage onto the Chandelure as well. But really cool teams. Either way, that's going to be it for this one. Don't forget to go check out Adi. His links are in the description below. Thank you so much as always for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed, and I'll catch you all soon. All right, peace.